welcome to our presentation. It's really actually very refreshing to go forth here. And earlier I was just thinking we shouldn't bother turning up for the presentation because nothing was working. But then we realised that no one else's seemed to work either. So, as you can tell, within our team, we actually focused on one thing, and it was just about having a lot of fun and learning on our here. So we also don't like PowerPoints, so we tried to do a Prezi, but we had to learn how to do that as well. So, and then we decided that's just too mainstream as well nowadays, so that's why the whiteboard's going to be here to just explain a little bit more about what's happening. Plus, we didn't have any time. As we were working, we have one of the late night survivors on our team worked all night to get HANA Studio to work. And then as Matthias told us, well, why are you doing stuff in HANA Studio? You're using the cloud. It has its own HANA associated to it, and you can't connect to it with HANA Studio. So what we actually did was build some stuff. We used HANA Studio to
build some. We created a table having the longitude and latitude information of all the places, and also the time was recorded, the spotted time, and the time it was extinguished. And the idea was that we would get the latitude and longitude on a area.
Just keep on going.
On an area with coordinates, and we would get the current location from the geo map, and then we would find the distance between the different fire danger areas and
make it work. Yeah. But now, see, the thing was, of course, we decided we were using HANA, and if we were just basically looking at latitude and longitude, what on earth is, why is the point? Why are we using such a powerful, wonderful tool to do that? So what we decided to do is we would find out, if there was a fire here, and our person was, well, fires here, 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 and here, and our person was somewhere, we wanted to find out, were they in danger from one of these fires? So how close were they to one of the fires? That seems very simple when you start thinking in 2 dimensions, but then you realise that the Earth is actually a 3-dimensional space, and when you feed latitudes and longitudes into it, it doesn't work anymore. So Rohini spent pretty much all the night.
We had the radius in kilometers, but we had the latitude and longitude in degrees, and thanks to Jacob, he helped me out in writing a procedure to convert that degrees to kilometers. But even though it was working on our HANA Studio, we couldn't get the procedure run because we were running input parameters from his jQuery into the HANA procedure, but the code wasn't running, taking 2 input parameters at two sides of the formulas.
It kind of worked, but it didn't. We also stumped the HANA expert as to why it wasn't working, so...
Sounds very much like last year.
So, but we did learn an awful lot about the power that we could use in using the HANA Developer Studio to actually do stuff. And as we saw, as we mentioned earlier, is actually the SAP NetWeaver Cloud instance, we had a HANA instance attached to it. And we did manage to get some data into that. So I'm just going to try and show if I can figure out how to get out of here. So we can actually see this is just a simple web UI that we built, which actually queries. So this is running in the NetWeaver Cloud. You can see the URL up the top there. And it's actually got our list of locations in there. It's a very, very simple tool, but it actually allows us to update in real time, and if I could figure out how to type one, I could put a new one in. So we were just trying to find some locations around Melbourne. If I bring up where are my bookmarks? Is that it? Yeah, that's the one. Google Maps API JavaScript. That's it. So you can see that the application is actually asking us for our location, so it's working out from the HTML5. So this also works on mobile devices, which I can prove in a moment. It goes away, queries the HANA system. Queries the HANA system? Why am I not? Did I press the wrong button? I did. once there should be an allow button over there somewhere. That's rather strange. Sorry.
Is on the next tab?
It's tricky. How do you shrink the window? Someone who knows how to use a Mac, help me.
Window zoom.
Window zoom?
Zoom.
Zoom. Ah, there we go. So we're going to actually allow it to get our current location data. So that's actually pulled it out. And it has read this information, so where these little spots are from that HANA database and put it up onto the screen. So obviously what we wanted to do was some geofencing, which is the idea of if there was a danger zone and the person was walking towards that, we could then be querying the HANA database and using the wonderful routine that we spent all night working on to actually tell us whether we were in danger or not. So, we didn't get very far with our front end. It's all done in HTML5, which is a wonderful thing because it does mean that we can actually run it on our mobile devices as well. So here's the same application running on the mobile device. Real mobile device, not so we had a lot of fun learning stuff. We realised that we were kind of short in skill sets for the things that we wanted to actually build during the time frame. So we did a lot of learning, and I think we had some fun doing it as well.
By the way, I forgot to introduce the team. This is Chris Payne, Rohini Sridhar, we have Eric Moore, Mari, and Varuna Avlo, who's Surya.
That's it.
Questions, please.
Is this actually SAP UI5?
No, we didn't go UI5. This is just jQuery.
Okay.
That was running the stuff. So we actually there's a we did the MVC separation of concerns. So it's actually pulling this web page itself is pulling out from there's the JSON pool. So that's coming from NetWeaver Cloud, which is reading from the HANA database in the cloud.
Okay, so you didn't see, or it didn't make any sense.
We didn't. There wasn't any advantage to using UI5 for this particular, especially because we wanted to put it onto the mobile platform as well, and we didn't want to take up additional space. We just didn't see the advantage.
And second question, where do you envision this data is coming from?
So some of it, one of the things that we wanted to do was the self-report option, so that the user could report a file as well. And put one in, but then apart from that we were a little bit lost. I mean, we did have an idea. We loved it. During our design thinking sessions we came up with all sorts of ideas about things, and you could see the little person that we built. We did have, as I said, we had lots of fun. We even came up with ideas of blimps with laser beams on them to guide people out of smoky situations, which we thought was by far the most imaginative thing that anyone came up with. However, we still had no idea how we were going to get the data to actually prove our app.
So this data is actually just a fire spot. That's
A fire spot, yes.
Okay.
We talked
The
about...
idea was what we wanted to show was from the HANA database, we wanted to connect to the map through NetWeaver Cloud.
Okay.
And because we couldn't get to the HANA system,
we did have a HANA system. Just not the one you could connect to Design Studio.
I suppose we had the Twitter and Facebook and all that feeds coming in, but there was no way with the skill set we had and the time frame we were to process that, put it into HANA and then take it out to the other side. Like I myself hasn't done any Java for about 10 years, so I was quite caught off guard when I was asked to do the JavaScript for the maps. Yeah.
Just rather than where the data was from, as you did your design thinking, who's the target audience ultimately?
was Lara, who was 25 years old.
Michelle. So Michelle, she was 25. She liked running. She was from Canberra. Did we not load that picture in the end?
it's 120.
Oh, it's a shame.
It's on Flickr.
we had a very detailed thing about Michelle, who is single because she did recently separate from her loser boyfriend.
I think the design thing was good. We had a good concept, but I think it was almost undoable because I think the technical aspect wasn't put over it. So it was just a
We had. I think the solution that we came up with would have really met Michelle's needs to what she wanted to do and to be able to avoid fires. We had ideas of safe routes out of where she was currently, to be able to plan all of that kind of stuff up. Yeah, and that's a very important point that we wanted to. One of the reasons we wanted to use the HTML5 was to be able to go offline, so that we were going to be loading information into the phone while the app was running, but we realised that in a fire situation, it's quite likely that the mobile towers could burn down, and people's online apps wouldn't necessarily be a useful thing. But if they could have some kind of a feed of where things were when they went offline, and have that information in the system. But in the end, it just came down to we had about 5 whiteboards full of ideas of things that we should build, and then we put stars against them saying that this one is impossible for us to build, and we ended up with the ones that we kind of did.
I think the concept was good because, especially in Canada, it was based on a Canberra scenario where there's a lot of young people come from cities to work in there, and it's still a country town, has a lot of country issues in there, so this was a scenario where someone could get caught in a fire while they're running around a bush track, and then trying to guide them out of the situation. So yeah, the concept was good, implementation was hard, not enough people, not enough skills, and a lot of new products that already were really coming together for us. Yeah.
What would be your next step from here?
Apart from going to the pub and having a drink.
I would want to sleep.
No, it's if we wanted to take this productionize the idea. Okay, this is a prototype, and one of the things about doing this is fail early. Now we realised that we hit some of the points which we failed on, and that would give us the ability to go back and learn and reevaluate what we're going on. I wouldn't continue with this product design in the way it is, because we've learned very quick from this short period. Like one of the questions that came up, where are you going to get that data from? So it doesn't actually mean that that particular idea works very well. But we had to actually go through this design prototype stage to actually learn that and learn it fully. So, yeah. We wouldn't necessarily take this any further, but I think it's been a very valuable exercise to do it, because if you're not allowed to fail, then you're not going to succeed.
So if I can just follow on from there, what are the types of skills that you've identified that you could perhaps missing?
I think for me it was Java and and the maps and all that sort of stuff.
Same here with the web technologies, because I'm more of a data person. So, and most of the, in order to actually show something, you need Java and all the other stuff.
So there was a lot of JavaScript, but I mean, I have to hand it to the guys. I didn't know SQL nearly as well as they did. To the queries that they were doing to try and make, spherical coordinates into, distances and stuff, and do it over huge data sets. I wouldn't have been able to do that. So it's certainly, we didn't touch a single line of ABAP in the entire work we did.
Because none of us knew about it.
Well, I do.
But it's 6 months of development, I would say. The whole thing was to be integrated, including Twitter feeds and data scraping on Facebook and all that sort of stuff.